I am waiting for a tow truck and then to try to figure out whether I can still do this show.
Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go.
Hey, it's George the Antique Nomad, and a funny thing happened to me on the way to Springfield. Not too funny, actually. I was stopping off in Cincinnati to pick up some things from a gal who would like me to sell some of her really cool Holt Howard collection, and I was so excited about getting it, and somehow 10 minutes before I got to her house, the transmission seems to have failed on the car. I noticed it wasn't shifting and I pulled over, and I don't know that it's the transmission itself or if the seal just broke, but all the transmission fluid was gushing out. So, I am waiting for a tow truck and then to try to figure out whether I can get a van and get to Springfield and still do this show, or whether I'm going to end up just attending as a customer. I've got to figure out what they're going to do with my van. Can they fix it? Can they fix it over the weekend? I'm not really sure what to expect. I'm about 5.5 hours from home, so it's a bit of a sticky circumstance. I guess we'll just have to see what evolves. Fortunately, this doesn't happen too often. I think I've had exactly one other breakdown in all the years I've been doing these shows, so count my blessings, but this is not very convenient or timely. Well, the very nice people at this Chrysler dealership are going to take a look at poor Leroy and see if they can do anything to fix his transmission. And while that is happening, they arranged a truck for me to use for the weekend at a very nice rate. It was very generous of them. I was really lucky to get it. There were no trucks available anywhere in town, and this one happened to be in their garage being serviced and got done right when I was standing there. So someone's looking out for me. I'm sure in the end, as they say, we'll look back on this and laugh after I unpack one van and put it all in here. Well, here we are pressing on. It's not dark yet. There are some street lights. I'm going to work as long as I can. I've got to get things out because a bunch of people are coming to see me. And I'm really glad that you are, because honestly, that's what keeps me going. I would have been very tempted to just pitch it and say, well, I'm going to shop this one and sit it out. But no, not when I've got company coming and I'm really looking forward to seeing you. And so I'll be here. We're getting it together. It's all out of the car. This is going to be the booth. It's not what I expected, so it's going to look different than I imagined too. We'll have fun. Well, it's a little hard to find your light at 10:15 at night, but I got everything in the booth that I could possibly squeeze, except for paper items and things that can't stay out in the dew overnight. I'm going to cover these up with some Visqueen and go get 6.5 or 7 hours sleep I really need, and then we'll be back here at 7 a.m. I believe we open. It's really a shame that it's too dark for you to see, because I think this was a pretty successful setup, but I doubt you're going to see any of it in these videos, so we'll just do a quick pan, a little night thing. There's a little light in the phone. You might be getting a little of this, but I'm just so happy. I've got 2 estates from Illinois and 1 from Florida that I'm working with, and that's where a lot of this stuff came from. I have been purchasing things as well, like the double peacock chenille there, but a whole lot of this just came to me in the last week, and I'm so happy because it means I have all sorts of fresh, fun stock. I've got serious things, I have true antiques, I have kitchen fun things, a whole lot of kitchen fun things you're going to see over here. Kitchen things and kitsch things and fun things. Look at all the characters, all the ceramics. I'll show you this in more detail tomorrow and actually talk about these things, time permitting, but I thought, well, who knows, the way this has gone so far, this might be my only chance to show you. So a bunch of modernist glass and some flamingos and some really cool stuff up there. That mushroom is a really neat piece of art glass there, and just all sorts of great stuff. I've got the jewelry covered for the night. I, of course, leave no silver or gold. So, well, gonna put it to bed and go back to the hotel. I just really tried to bring everything I could fit into my poor van that is now at the repair garage. Thankfully, I was able to cram it all into this surprisingly small for its size truck in terms of payload, but I managed to get it all in, and I managed to get it all here, and I'm so thrilled. My first celebrity guests have arrived.
Jeffrey from Real Nifty Vintage is here getting a jump on everyone else at the crack of dawn with Barb from
Winking Owl Antiques, and I'm so excited. I am still in the process of setting up, so they have found wonderful things with no prices, so let's fix that. There's a lot of those. So we'll start with the jewelry side of the booth because, well, I always try to bring costume jewelry. I have a lot of fresh stuff from Betsy Johnson. Now this stuff is all made in the late 90s, early 2000s before Betsy Johnson went out. But it is fun, it's funky, and people do like it. And there's some really cute pieces like this owl. And these are things that, you know, they're going to typically sell in a $35 range. But then, of course, we have a lot of vintage, some signed pieces like the copper bracelet and the copper jewelry here, the Renoir and Matisse. I've had a few flower power pins. I've got one left. I sold 3 today. The Sorelli necklace is under an Italian necklace. I mentioned wedding cake beads, and these are similar. They're not quite as heavily enameled, but this is where you have this raised enameling and the squiggling, and it's layers like a cake. That's the reason they call it that. And then there's a turquoise, raw turquoise bead strand there. We're going to look in this case real quickly. I have some deco jewelry, some 20s. I have sold a lot today, so it's not as interesting as it was, but there are still some fun pieces. That little elephant that I've tried to sell in a few live sales came here. A Juliana piece there. Nice pair of opera glasses. I noticed the mother of pearl is starting to really sell in general. That seems like an up-and-coming area. Mother of pearl handled utensils as well. There's a nice, I think it's a Warner stacked pin, and I believe that's Juliana next to it, the square pin. Nice sterling and amber bracelet. So I do have some fresh things in jewelry still. I have some nice things like the gold modernist, which is a Mossamore design out of California from the early 70s. That's solid gold. That's a $1,000 necklace. This nice big fun rhinestone piece here. This one, the Florenza butterfly, it actually shakes its wings, all of them. I sold some cameos today. There's still some left. So we got some fresh things in costume jewelry, another owl pendant. I'm going to be picking up a big collection of costume jewelry before my next show in Portland, Oregon, so you folks out west will get to enjoy that. Over here, I sold so much of the boudoir stuff, the head vases, the perfume bottle set, so there's really actually an empty shelf. Do still have the Hanging Hearts by Fenton. That's an original one from the 70s. And
It was so much fun having different people come to the booth and hang out, and I didn't have the volume up during this because Jocelyn and Dagny from Flying Pig Thrifts had just gotten there, and Jocelyn from Crazy Lamp Lady had a fan run right up to her and want to talk to her, so I didn't want to interrupt them. There's baby Laurel. There's Dagny waving. We just saw each other for the first time. Dagny had a really great piece of Dom Nancy in that box that she's bringing over to have me appraise. You should check that out in her video. And there's Drew meeting my friends Ken and Jill, who are dealers in the Louisville area and a bunch of vendor malls. It's just so much fun to have so many people hang out in the booth and get to have my friends meet each other.
we have an interesting combination of glass here too I wanted to show, because I thought it would be fun to put a true Victorian piece made of mercury glass, but it somehow has this really nice aspect, and I thought, you know, this is going to look good with these modernist pieces, so I put them together, and I do like the way that it groups. It's interesting to see that sometimes things can work across generations that you would never imagine. This little Blanco here is unusual because of this green surface inside. This one has the signature on the bottom. It also has the acid mark in the bottom. This was a special line that they did for a very brief period of time. I love that sunset color. This, on the other hand, is one of their old pieces, and this is unusual because this is more of a rubina to the red rather than an amberina. This is not the normal color scheme in Blanco, so that is a bit unusual and worth a little bit more as a result. The Hager Ewer is cool. I had some swung vases, they all sold. This woman is beautiful, this terracotta. She's Italian. I just think she has the sweetest design to her.
a really good Fenton piece with the silver deposit. This was a limited edition about 30 years ago. A lot of these are pretty scarce too. This one here was never in the line, the Burmese cat. That's why it's priced at $125. NIL means never in line. That means it was a special order for this collector's showcase shop, which was the largest independent Fenton seller in the country in their day. The Lilac birds, which I think will fly away to a new home when someone realizes I have them. They're very cute. And then we get back in here, this very pretty Austrian vase. The Westmoreland candlestick holders, I really like that color blue as well as the Capri blue there with the Viking. We've got the butterfly mounts. Up here I have this Adolfo hairpiece. It's actually like a turban. This very sad but very pretty chrome 1930s with the sad nudes as the, there's a whole line of this stuff. This is by Farberware out of Brooklyn, New York. And she's weeping, but it's a very beautiful pose and, you know, hard times in the Depression. I guess everyone could use a good cry once in a while. This is a Peter Pan. This was a Wade Collectors Club membership piece from about 20 years ago. Wade did a lot of stuff for collectors, not just stuff you get in tea boxes. Owls. We've got Italian alabaster, and we have this bisque porcelain, also Italian. And then this is a very, very pretty piece. This is Kelsey Murphy and Robert Bonkamp. Cameo is their main thing, and she is now the art director at Blanco. So she is their current designer in-house. This is an unusual twin spout pitcher behind here with the texturing. This one here is Kanawa, and it has the ship in the bottle. The flamingos are 1980s, but I think they're really good, and they're studio, and they're 40 years old. I am starting to buy the 1980s flamingos as long as they're not trying to be a rip-off of the 50s. Then they're legit as far as I'm concerned. These really great Bakelite swizzle sticks. I'm surprised I still have these. A bunch of people have picked them up today. I think I'll put them in this ice bucket and see if people notice them there. Chinese carved stone head. The very naughty nutcracker. Oh, good morning. Hi there. That one is 60. So we have another celebrity sighting here. We have Laura from Fat Bird Finds. And we have, hello there, I'm so glad you came. And I have a few things that I think you might like, so I'll show you in a minute. Okay. And then Michael Todd is there. He is busy filming and looking at a really cool Italian piece. And then right around the corner, we have, we're going to get there. There she is. Oh, no, she's running away. It is Misty from Thrifter, Junker, Vintage Hunter. Hey.
George brought the kitsch.
I brought the kitsch this time.
Disney.
And Disney. I know. I brought my Florida stock. I know. I had to. I just had to. Yeah, I thought it's my last show before the season, and I had it, and I thought, well, let's just bring it and have fun. Tobacco tin still there. Still have some of these cute things, but it sold a lot of this little stuff off of this shelf, a whole ton of it actually. I know that Misty bought several pieces, so you're going to get to see them. There was a lot more Disney on this shelf that sold. A lot more childhood in general. It's actually done really well. A couple pieces went with Michael Todd, so you can see them upcoming on auctions and sales. And I had a whole shelf full of Disney, and it's really sold down. I was actually going to put this aside for Florida, and then I thought, well, I'll just bring it here. Well, Disney's popular everywhere, and yeah, this is no exception. Okay, so you got this for...
Yes, Andrew actually spotted this and paid $75 for it.
Wow.
And I absolutely love it.
It's really fun.
I'm probably going to afford it.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, just do your whole room around it. It's so current color too, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Those oranges and that sort of pastel, that's actually super funky and cool. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm glad you're having fun.
Yes.
It is amazing what people want and why, and I love that about this because it is always different. And the brass milk can, I don't blame him for checking that out. No one's ever seen one before. I'd never seen one before I got it, so it just made me smile.
Yeah, the chrome ones are American, but I think the brass ones were all made in England. That one's English, and that's when I've seen completed sales, they're all in England and they're around $500. So I figured, well, we're in America, I'll make it 300.
Go buy it. It's not a problem.
Oh, right, exactly, because someone who understands it will buy it. Yeah. This is Amy, Yoso Boho. Love her stuff. Loves chatting with her, and now I get to meet her in person. I'm so excited. It is so cool to have so many folks. Well, having so many folks come out and visit me in the real world is just really, really exciting. The TV lamp with the bluebirds remains. It is so fun and funky and cool, and I decided it deserved an entire shelf of its own, and so it got one. And it's actually a nice, safe way, I think, of displaying it where it won't fall, because this shelf unit is a little bit imperfect for this. So we have a bunch more people here. This is Cindy in the red cap with Mimi's Treasure Cottage. Pamela Blanchard is behind there, and we are all just meeting for the first time, and obviously everyone is having a lot of fun. This is just great. And these folks saw the paint by numbers in my video and are here to take a look at those. Okay, so here is Pamela Blanchard and My Flippin' Van Life, I remember, but tell me your name. Sandy, of course, yes. I know that because we talked before. And they are here visiting, and we've got Cindy in the background, and it's just so much fun. Hi there, yay, Val's here. Oh my gosh, so many fun people. I am so excited to see you all. The Portuguese birds. So my friends Ken and Jill were here, and Ken told a story about how the Portuguese roosters were based on some folklore about a guy who appealed to the King of Portugal to not be sentenced to death, and the king said, well, there's a rooster cooking right here. If you can get it to get up and walk away, I'll set you free. And apparently somehow, maybe they hadn't cooked it too long. I don't know. This is the story. Supposedly he got it to reanimate, and he was spared because he did this amazing trick before the king. So Portuguese roosters are a thing because of this fable, and well, here's 4 of them right now, large to small. Bradley and Hubbard, we've got this army guy here. I thought that Digger Drew from Crazy Lamp Lady might like that, but he ended up buying some script from lumber companies and some other interesting things instead. He and I both like coins, so we like to talk shop about that. Here's a bunch more Disney, Dumbo and Donald Duck, and a couple of Bugs Bunnies as well, all from the 1940s. Hey there, so look all who's here. Oh my gosh, we have so many people visiting today. It's so much fun. I'm so glad to have well, let's introduce. So we've got Sarah of the Traveling Button. We have David of Drunk Chunk Antiques, which I finally got right. I said it right the first time. I'm going to let you folks introduce yourselves because I'll screw it up.
Amy of the Hammer. Amy.
Yes, that's right. I'm so glad you're here, and we'll get that thing out of your car, I promise. Amy brought me this really great bust. It's a Hudson's department store mannequin head. It looks like something modernist from probably the 1960s, looking at the way the hair is done. It's about 2.5 feet tall. It was really nice of her to offer it to me, and I paid her what I hope is a fair price, but I told her if I sell it for more than I expect, I'm going to give her some of the difference, because, you know, we don't always know what things are worth until we put them out and sell them.
It's Tina and Jason of Mother Tucker.
That's right. It's Mother Tucker's. So check out all their content. I don't know if I'm going to get to film much at this show, so this might be what you get to see of everybody from me. Now, I had a whole bunch of lunchboxes. I have sold 3 out of 4 already today. A bunch of children's books sold. I sold a bunch of Oz books to Sarah, the Traveling Button. And it's just been really fun watching who likes what and what floats their boat, and I'm just really so pleased that I have things for people. Here's some more Oz books. Sophie, hi there. Oh, look how cute you are. Yes, show everyone how cute you are. Yes, you are. We have Ariana here from The Withering Cottage, another YouTube site that you should check out if you haven't already. She really has an eye for really fun things, and she's picked out a couple of little fun things that she's going to get for me, which is wonderful.
These are going to be for my mom. I bought her a dollhouse today, so these are going to go great in them. And then I love these, and George actually taught me what they are.
Yes, aren't they fun? These are these ribbons that were carnival prizes in the 1940s, and then you would wear this around the carnival, and
say what you had to say.
And apparently I say, hello, handsome, and I'm interested.
Ooh,
Wow, I'm
wow.
really putting it out there.
Well, she should be very popular here today then.
Thank you so much.
Oh, this
George.
was really fun, and I can't wait to see your video from here.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome, yes. A Japanese couple bought my Snoopy-related glass by Pyrex, so that was nice. A whole lot of little fun figures of various sorts, squeaky toys, some of the doll furniture sold, a lot of these little miniatures. I sold Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in the small size. A bunch of these walkers sold. So we've had sales from $2 to $250 in this booth today. I sold a very nice Alaskan print by a well-known artist to someone from the West Coast. I was expecting to take it to the West Coast, but she recognized it, wanted it, understood why it was priced at $250, and the Brian Birdsong print went with her. Here are some cool Western 1940s vintage Disney pieces. And we've got Dopey and Pluto and Three Little Pigs. I usually save the Disney for Florida, but I had to bring it this time. Sometimes we get so focused when we're traveling like I do to various shows that we say, well, we're going to save this for a certain region. But, you know, I'm not doing a show there for 2 months. I have clients who have a lot of good Disney, and there are collectors all over. And, you know, I've sold a bunch of it. So we'll just have to find more for Florida. I had a nice true antique display in front here, and I sold a bunch of the pieces. The Bradley and Hubbard wall sconce mirror sold. I sold the St. Louis World's Fair plate. I do still have the Eisenhower Air Force One plate at $16.50. That's going to take a very specialized collector. This little guy is a nodder, and he is doing his studies. And then I used the rest of it for paper ephemera because I had other objects on it. And again, I've sold a lot of objects today. This table had a lot more of the various orange and amberina glass, and I've been refilling it as it's sold. I ended up using the back of the pickup for the hanging of the double peacock chenille because it really needed to air out a little bit, and because I couldn't see into the booth around it when I had it hanging on the back of the tent, so I had to move it. Sold some bookends and some metalwork. The Fostoria heirloom Apern, a beautiful piece, that sold to a collector and viewer who came, and I'm so glad that she got it. It's always fun for me when some of my more serious collectors get to come to the show and see what I've got in person, and I love finding out more about what they collect and what they look for and trying to accommodate. This piece has gotten a lot of attention today. This is M. Broom, and people keep looking for the signature on the back, but actually in this case it's on the front. His stuff really sells well now. This piece sold on eBay for over $100 last week. It used to be you would find these, and you still can sometimes at estates for $5 and $10 and $15, but that Broom name in particular is desirable now. Here's my other set of Snow White and the Dwarfs. We have an extra bashful, so there's Snow White and 8 dwarves. And they apparently were working in the WPA when she found them, because it was the 30s after all. People seem to like the Wagnerware, and they don't like it quite as much as my price, but someone's going to, because it's almost sold a bunch of times. I sold a big Mexican ceramic cat. It had some damage, so I gave the gal a good deal, but she loved it and wanted to put it on the floor and have it be the cat in the house, so she was happy with it the way it was. I sold a bunch of big iron stuff. I sold the glass sherbet. I found this book in a pile. It's actually a very nice primer, but it looks very lurid when you read the title at first. The Hager Rooster is moved to the front because I sold a bunch of stuff that was in the front, so I needed a new mascot up here. I don't think people are seeing this Kurok piece. Maybe we'll move that around to the front while we're at it. And there we go. University of Michigan, I guess. Yep. I finally got all the pieces of this in one place where you can see everything that I've got. I have an ice bucket that I didn't bring, but I think I brought everything else. There might be a couple more spice condiment jars at home. But it's a fun pattern, Japanese from the late 50s, early 60s, called Early Provincial, hand-painted under glaze, and it was by PY, which was connected to UCAGCO, and PY is considered to be really good stuff. It's better quality, a lot more detail in the painting. It's kind of up there with Holt Howard amongst collectors of such. Still have this great Boots cookie jar from the 50s, and I've almost sold the Lane Cow Jumped Over the Moon lamp a few times. It should sell around 50, and I've met a little price resistance there, but I think we'll find its correct owner soon, because people do seem to really like it. So I commented on Heather's channel,
Yes.
Antique Agenda.
Yes, well, you visited my channel and got to watch my talk show with Angela Brocante Bergamot, which
That's
I
right.
do with her, and we talk about collections. And we touch on history every week and just have a good old time. I go shopping over at antique malls and compose music to it, so it's a fun, relaxing type of a video.
Yeah, it really is. It's something different, and I like it. It kind of reminds me of like after the football games when they do the stuff to music, except
Yeah.
it's antiques and vintage, which I think is more fun.
Yes.
Lots of road signs. These usually seem to sell well. I did sell a couple earlier. The show's been really good so far. I was expecting to show you even more dazzling things, but so many of them have sold. And that is the one problem. I really want to have you folks enjoy the shows and get to experience vicariously what we get to experience, but it is really busy right at the beginning, and that's one part of the experience you only get to experience by being here. And the folks who came and visited, both viewers and other content creators, have had a really fun time experiencing it. It is such a huge show. It is almost the end of day one, and this is part of the reason that I am glad other people who came, and a lot of different YouTubers came, have been filming my booth and other parts of the show, because there's some stuff I'm not going to get to see because I couldn't get away. It was very busy here, and there's some stuff that you're not going to see because it's sold. But a lot of it's going to appear in other YouTubers' videos because I just happen to have a lot of stuff that appealed to the folks who came who are resellers on other channels. So you're going to get a chance at it one way or another. I'm hoping that I get to shop around and show you some more of this show because it's pretty incredible. At least I got to show you some of my booth, although my booth's about $4,000 lighter of merchandise than it was this morning. So if you didn't get to see it all, the only thing I can say is next year, book yourself a trip to Springfield.
Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below, click the bell to be notified when new videos upload, leave a comment below, and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.